Straight ahead at 6, 2 men arrested after a Sherman standoff last night. What they're accused of doing in Bonham 2 days before.
I panicked. I've never been through anything like this before.
A Sherman store robbed at gunpoint. 2 suspects last night. How much they got away with and what they were last seen driving.
And a man bolts out of the courtroom yesterday after hearing his sentence, and it's all caught on camera. Where authorities are searching for him now. News 12 at 6 starts now.
Texoma's #1 rated newscast, broadcasting live from 12 studios. This is News 12 at 6 p.m.
It's exciting but scary.
Yes, yeah, very exciting.
Quiet little Sherman.
A Sherman house filled with tear gas as police worked for 2 hours to bring 2 fugitives to justice. Good evening. Welcome to News 12 at 6. I'm Dan Thomas.
And I'm Maureen Kane. 2 men are in jail tonight accused of shooting a Bonham man, running off, then getting into a standoff with police in Sherman last night.
We find News 12's Kristen Weaver in that Sherman neighborhood where they barricaded themselves. Now, Kristen, how did police get the men to come out of that house?
Yeah, well, all of the windows here at this Sherman home are broken after police fired round after round of tear gas. And that was after almost 2 hours of negotiations. Chris and Anna Kaiser moved to their Sherman home on Utah and South Dakota about a month ago because of its low crime rate. Around 8 p.m., someone knocked on their door.
Detective showed me his ID. Wanted to know if it was okay to put his vehicle in our driveway.
The Kaisers didn't think much of the detective until about an hour later.
Heard the loudspeaker, my dog's going crazy again.
There was a SWAT man, whatever you call those, an awesome guy that had a gun pointed that way, and so came and looked out the front window, and it looked like Christmas out here with all the red and blue lights going off. Next door to Jeanette and Gerald Bullard, hordes of law enforcement were trying to get inside a home where 2 men were armed and barricading themselves. They kept trying to get the men to come out. 3 days ago, Bonham police say Markale McGee and Raymontre Dudley were caught breaking into a car at a Bonham home. Doug Callis tried to stop the men, saying he had a gun. That's when police say one or both shot Callis's knee and hip before running off. Police say they identified the men just hours later and got information they were inside the Sherman home Wednesday night. Neighbors say police threw a cell phone inside the home to communicate, but that didn't work, so they used tear gas.
Obviously not gunshots, but they were still quite loud. I'm assuming that was canister gas.
After police fired about 20 rounds of tear gas, the 2 men finally came outside and were arrested.
I thought it was just like in a movie.
Yeah, it really was just like a movie.
It was exciting but scary.
Yes, yeah, very exciting.
Quiet little Sherman.
We were so proud of our police force.
Now, both suspects are being held in the Grayson County Jail on aggravated assault and burglary charges, and both their bonds were set at $200,000. The man who was shot is recovering in a Plano hospital. Live in Sherman, Kristen Weaver, News 12.
The Winners Sweepstakes off Sam Rayburn Freeway in Sherman is back open today after the store was robbed by 2 men last night.
News 12's Stan Smith spoke with the man who was working behind the counter during that robbery and tells us what went through his mind when the suspect pointed a gun right at him.
The employee working at Winter Sweepstakes says Wednesday felt like any other regular night at work until he noticed one man acting strange when he got up from one of the gaming machines inside.
I panicked. I've never been through anything like this before.
The employee doesn't want his face shown, but tells us around 8:30 Wednesday night, 2 men entered the business where we're told that for a donation, customers play computer games for prizes. He says they pointed a handgun at him, demanding money, grabbed $638, and ran before the police got there.
Yeah, I started freaking out, honestly. I was wigging out pretty hard, and, I called my manager, had everybody else call the cops, and...
A business owner from the same block on Sam Rayburn Freeway says he was not at all surprised to hear about the robbery because he finds needles and trash in front of his business frequently.
Skid marks all over the parking lot. There was some up on the curb, like actual walking area. Syringe needles, crap like that.
Sergeant Brett Mullen says the 2 suspects left in a silver 4-door car with a green and white license plate and are expected to be charged with aggravated robbery.
Basically what we know right now is the details of what happened that night, getting into the further details of who they are, where they're from, where they're going, and any motives that still will come to light in the investigation.
The Winter Sweepstakes clerk says he feared for his life and is going to protect himself.
I don't know, maybe a panic button. I know probably going to go get my carry license, but...
In Sherman, Stan Smith, News 12.
Well, the Marshall County Sheriff's Office is still searching for a man who bolted from the courthouse yesterday after being sentenced for a probation violation.
News 12's Crystal Martinez shows us the surveillance video of how that man was able to get away.
Sheriff Danny Cryer says Nathan Usry fled the courtroom, ran down these stairs, and then out this door before taking off on foot and getting away from deputies. Surveillance footage shows Usry in the courtroom. Then as the judge sentences him to prison time, he gets up and takes off. Usry was being sentenced in court for violating probation. He'd been serving 5 years probation for a meth conviction.
It's my understanding the court revoked a couple of years of a probationary sentence and was going to sentence him to DOC time.
Sheriff Cryer says Usry was last seen turning this corner onto the street where Mark Orange works.
I got a phone call from a fireman I know. It said they had a manhunt going on because somebody run from the courthouse.
Orange says he saw about a dozen officers outside.
They come through my yard searching with the dog, looking to see if he was out in one of my outbuildings.
Sheriff Cryer says he's working with officials in surrounding counties to track Usry down. Usry, who is from Calera, now faces additional charges for Wednesday's getaway, and anyone who helps him could be charged with a felony.
He was actually sentenced to an additional 6 months in the county jail yesterday for contempt of court, and then he'll also be charged with escape, and we'll have to see what the court system does with that charge.
Sheriff Cryer asked if you have any information to give the Marshall County Sheriff's Office a call. In Medill, Crystal Martinez, News 12.
Ardmore police arrested a man who led them on a chase last night, then took off running. Officers stopped Tyler Perry for speeding, but he took off and led them on a chase through neighborhoods at around 60 miles per hour. Officers lost Perry, but got a report that he had crashed on E Street and 8th Street Southeast. He ran off and was arrested after police found him hiding under a bed in a home on E Street Southeast. Police say he had a small bag of meth on him.
All right, time to check weather here. Mild night ahead. Hope you're enjoying it because we are headed for a big turnaround in the weather. Dangerous storms possible this time tomorrow. Chief Meteorologist Steve LaNore is in the Weather Center. Steve, just how bad could it get?
Well, Dan, tonight, of course, things are beautiful out there. Temperatures are still in the 60s. Extremes range 57 Clayton and Ada to 70 degrees this hour in Marietta. Now, fast forward to tomorrow. It'll start off pretty nice. It'll be windy and warm, much like today. But later in the day, as this dry line comes in from the west, kind of like more of an April situation here. There's definitely going to be the potential for some severe weather to erupt here where the dry air runs into the humid air. And there is a significant chance of some kind of severe weather. The tornado potential is there. It's not super high, but that is a concern as well. And at the very least, maybe some damaging wind or hail tomorrow night. But for tonight, it's going to be a quiet evening. Cloud cover will gradually increase as that moisture continues to pump in, and there's a small chance of rain at breakfast time, 20%. That would just be some showers. The severe stuff, if we get it, will happen much later. We'll talk more about that when I return.
The OSBI is offering a reward for information on an Idabel homicide. On September 19th, they say that Leslie Deaver was found dead of a gunshot wound in the 1300 block of Southwest Jackson Street. Investigators believe that there are people in the community who can identify the suspects. They're offering a $5,000 reward. Anybody with any information can call the OSBI tip line. A plane had to make an emergency landing last night in a Gunner Field. Police say the engine failed and the pilot was forced to bring it down in a field off of Pike and Mackey. The plane was flying out of Addison. Nobody was hurt, and the plane only had minor damage.
All right, big news here. Kids, listen up, even adult kids. City of Denison announcing plans for a new trampoline park in the Gateway Village development. Yeah, that was just the start of the excitement for the Urban Air, which has over 130 locations worldwide, including one in Ardmore already. It'll be located off Highway 75 and FM 691. Building will be over 30,000 square feet. It's going to have trampolines, dodgeball courts, and obstacle courses. Co-owner Annie Harlow says there could be even more attractions once it's completed.
There's so much that Urban Air has to offer, and we really want to customize what this community wants and needs. And so there's lots of different things that we have the opportunity to bring in.
And that building's expected to be completed by the end of next summer.
And there you are right there in that video. You got to see it all firsthand.
Yeah, I couldn't miss out on that.
Fantastic news.
Yeah, you and me, we're going to have to go.
We're going.
First day it
Bring
opens.
the kids.
Yeah, trampoline. Well, I don't know about the kids. I got to test it out first, make sure it's safe.
Yeah, right.
All right. Well, hey, check this out. A big game for the Ardmore Tigers. Tomorrow, how the students and community are coming together tonight to get them ready.
Plus, they'll lay it all on the line tomorrow night, how the Sulphur Bulldogs plan to finish off the season in the state championship game.
And checking our TMC Tower Cam, look at that gorgeous sky out there as that sunset just will not quit this Thursday evening. But we are tracking the chance of storms. Steve's got it in that Futurecast, what you need to know to be aware if you're headed out Friday night. Well, the Ardmore Tigers are getting ready to head to state tomorrow, but not before the community rallies together to send them off.
News 12's Crystal Martinez is live outside Noble Stadium. And Crystal, what's going on out there?
Well, guys, as you can see behind me, what's left of a bonfire we had tonight to bring the community together and pep them up as we get ready to see our Tigers take the field tomorrow night. Now, I have been told Ardmore hasn't been to state since 1992, where they won and were also undefeated. Ardmore will be facing Carl Albert at Edmond Santa Fe for that state title. Kickoff is at 7. We spoke to a player who tells us how he feels going into tomorrow's game and the chance at repeating history.
We're still not satisfied just because we're 13-0. We want to go 14-0, show everybody in the state why we're the best.
Now tomorrow there will be a send-off at 2:30. It will be on Veterans Boulevard from the skating rink to I-35, and we hope everyone can make it out. Live in Ardmore, Crystal Martinez, News 12.
And the all-state list loaded with area volleyball players. He was honored statewide.
And a lot happening in our weather plate. We're talking about serving up some severe weather possibly tomorrow, gusty winds on Saturday, and then cooling down next week. So we'll track all the action for you when I come back.
From the Weather Authority, here's Steve LaNore.
What a pretty sky getting off to the evening with kind of a lustrous glow in the western sky here from our TMC time lapse. This little 30-minute clip showing you what's happening there. For the exception of just a couple of clouds on the horizon, it's going to be a clear evening, but cloud cover will start to thicken up later on tonight as southerly wind flow continues to slowly moisten things up ahead of a system that could produce some strong to severe weather about this time tomorrow evening. Should be a smooth ride overnight tonight after a very spring-like day. 77 in Ardmore, 74 Sherman and Denison. A couple of spots down toward the Metroplex like DFW hitting 80 degrees this afternoon. Fish and game forecast brought to you by Sherman Collision Repair for your Friday, and good luck you're headed out tomorrow. It will be pretty windy out there. Most of the day should be dry. Could be a morning shower, 20% on that. The big stuff will happen again probably around this time into the evening hours tomorrow. It's a quick shot of weather, which includes a chance of some severe storms, so we're concerned about that. Winds tonight aren't too bad, running south 5 to 10. Now they'll tend to pick up later on tonight, much like we saw last night, and very windy tomorrow, windier tomorrow than it was today, so get ready for that. Temperature-wise, generally we're anywhere from upper 60s to mid-50s, quite a spread here on temps, typical of a night with light winds and some cold air drainage going on. Humidity values are highest, as you can see, in our eastern counties, where I think the highest chance of rain will be tomorrow, running into a better plume of Gulf moisture coming in, but all of Texoma has some chance of storms tomorrow. In general, though, the farther east you live, the higher your chance of rain will be on Friday, primarily at night or maybe late in the day tomorrow. So a weather alert for that. Storms forming around sunset tomorrow evening. Could start along I-35 or maybe Highway 75, somewhere in that range. Hail and damaging wind is certainly possible. Even an isolated tornado cannot be ruled out here, although we don't have strong heating, which would increase that tornado chance. We have to keep an eye on that. We may have to adjust this a little bit tomorrow. That's the way these things always kind of shake out. But right now, the best chance for rough weather is going to be, as you can see, from about Whitesboro and Tishomingo east in the enhanced zone, but even Ada and Ardmore, you're in a slight risk of that. Big upper low. This thing is really moving though, which is unusual for a system of this size. And as it trucks down I-40 right toward Texoma and Oklahoma especially, we're going to be getting some strong lifting associated with that. So with the moisture coming in, the upper low coming in from the west, all the ingredients are kind of coming together tomorrow afternoon for some strong storms. This front not amounting to much, it'll go away. The dry line is the main focusing point for these storms to form. Now, model number 1 shows very little activity ahead of the dry line until late in the day into tomorrow night, but I think that might be a bit optimistic because model number 2, the high-resolution version, does show a little more activity popping up along the I-35 or Highway 75 corridor by later in the day. Watch as we start to see some activity here. Now, you say, gee, doesn't look like much, but this could be a lot more intense than what it's showing. But positionally and timing-wise, this is what I'm expecting somewhere between about 5 and 7 p.m. to start to see some storms pop, and they'll get worse as they go east out of our viewing area. So again, we're kind of on the western edge of this whole outbreak, but can't rule out a couple of rough ones, folks, tomorrow evening. Stay tuned on that. Tonight, things should be quiet. It'll be about 45 Ada behind that little front to about 55 in Sherman, 60 in Paris ahead of it. Everybody in on some springtime warmth again tomorrow with highs you can see here running close to 70 degrees. Gusty winds tomorrow from the south and southwest. And we're looking at that rain chance just 20% tomorrow, 60% tomorrow night. Saturday and Sunday, we start to see a cool down on Sunday, a gorgeous Saturday, but kind of windy once again on Saturday, and we cool it down early next week, back to a high of only 47 early next week. So 2 more spring-like days, and then we start to cool down.
All right, get a little closer to normal next week.
Yeah, but spring storms, worried about those tomorrow night.
Yeah, just got to get through tomorrow night, and that's bad timing. We got some state title games going on.
Yeah, going to be a lot on the line tomorrow night for sure, especially north of the Red River, because we got those state championship games coming up. Several area volleyball players earn all-state honors. We'll talk about that, and we are getting ready for Championship Friday, how the Sulphur Bulldogs plan to finish up their 2018 football season. Sports is next.
Now, your award-winning local sports coverage. Here's David Reed.
It's a big weekend for high school football, and the last one in Oklahoma. 2 area teams are playing for a state championship. We covered Ardmore yesterday, and now it's time to talk 3A with the Sulphur Bulldogs. And what a game this one should be. Sulphur will play longtime powerhouse Heritage Hall for the 3A state championship. It's been a great year for Sulphur, only 1 loss, and that one came on the opening night weeks ago against Cash. But after losing a ton of seniors from last year's team, this team just keeps getting better, and they look ready to contend for that title on Friday up at Western Heights.
I mean, I feel great to be here. I mean, that's wonderful to be playing, you know, in the state finals, but now we need to finish it up, do it right.
It's really exciting, but I mean, making it wasn't the complete goal. The goal is to win it all.
Signing day for Colbert's softball standout, Tori Buck. She's headed to Eastern Oklahoma State to continue her softball playing career. She was a big part of Colbert's success last season, helping them reach the state tournament. Now she is excited to compete at the college level.
It's an honor to be able to say I actually accomplished a goal that I've been saying since I was little that I was wanting to do. It's exciting.
The Coaches Association All-State Volleyball Awards are handed out, and if you're from Callisburg or Lindsay, you had a pretty good shot here. The big 3 from the state champion Lady Cats are all on there. Skylar Allen, Lindsay Bullard, and Macy Satterwhite, all 3 a huge part of Callisburg's first state championship. Gunner star Beth Gilberth is All-State. What a season she had to help lead Gunner deep into the playoffs. Carrie Johnson, the setter from Collinsville, is All-State. Had a great year for the Lady Pirates. Tons of Lindsay Lady Knights on there after going to the 5th set of the state championship game. There's 5 of them. Olivia Hurdle, Ashley Flightman, Mackenzie Flightman, Rachel Metzler, and Brianna Craigie. Big congratulations to all the All-Staters. It was a fantastic year for high school volleyball in the area.
Yeah, fantastic.
Sure.
All right. Thanks, David.
All right, stick around. We'll be right back and checking in with Steve.
So tomorrow we're talking about the risk for severe weather. Now this doesn't mean that we're having a 30% chance of a tornado. It means that we could get some damaging wind, some hail, or possibly an isolated tornado. I think the biggest threats will be hail and wind, with some chance but a lower chance of getting a tornado out of this stuff tomorrow evening. About this time, some stuff may be popping on Doppler 12 tomorrow night. Tonight should be quiet, maybe a few light showers in the morning, but as that dry line punches in from the west tomorrow evening, there will be a window of probably 4 to 6 hours where some bad storms could be popping up through Texoma. Behind that, though, it's high and dry, well, high on Saturday with cooling temperatures into next week and back down to the freeze zone by Tuesday morning.
Yeah, just got to look out for tomorrow night.
Yeah, it's going to be a little dicey. Stay tuned.
All right, we'll see y'all tonight at 10. Have a good one.
See you then.